Welcome into another edition of What Barrie's Talking About from Barrie 360. I'm Dan Blakely. On this week's program, protecting our paramedics from violence. The Barrie Fire Service is bringing back its Hot Summer Night event, as well as a special camp for teens. And have you thought about volunteering as a scout leader? We get the conversation started after this. Simcoe County Paramedics have been under siege, threatened both verbally and physically, to the point where the County of Simcoe has taken steps to protect its paramedics. Barrie 360's Will Konken gets the details from Sarah Mills, the Director of Paramedic Services.
The EVAP program, she's used the acronym EVAP, and it's External Violence Against Paramedics. And what it is trying to change the culture and bring awareness to the violence that paramedics experience, not only in Simcoe County, but across the country, internationally, on a daily basis in their duties.
Do you happen to know any like stats at all? Kind of compare.
Not off the top of my head.
At all. Yeah.
Appeal Paramedics is a very big driver for this, and one of their superintendents, Mandy Johnson, is really pushing this, and she's kind of like the provincial advocate for it. And some of the stats they've given us from some of their staff surveys is, 98% of their staff have experienced verbal harassment in their career. And then it kind of goes through like verbal, physical, unwanted sexual advances, sexual harassment, that type of thing. So,
was it always an idea to implement something like this? I assume that it's always been an issue. It's just like right now, it's maybe just come to a head at some point.
It's come to a point right now, so it has always been an issue. But in professions like ours, in first responder professions, it always was kind of felt to be part of the job. So. And we never really paid much attention to it, much as we didn't really pay much attention to mental health injuries and occupational stress injuries. So now we're starting to really turn our mind to the things that we can work to prevent, and really drawing a line in the sand saying, it actually isn't a part of your job. It's not something that you should experience in the course of your job duties. So,
what do you kind of like the most that's going to be implemented within the program? Is there any specifics? I guess the whole program itself is great, but maybe some specifics.
Yeah, so we were putting in. So the whole program itself, so it's more support for staffs from a corporate lens, from a benefits lens. It's easily accessible reporting for our staff so they can better report the incident and bring it forward. And we have some training coming up for all of our staff that's going to give them better situational awareness and threat de-escalation, so help them navigate some of the violence they experience. And also we're putting in some more safety protocols. So when we talk about some of the equipment, we're reevaluating and putting in new equipment. And then we're also looking at a very public campaign on, messaging around kind of no excuse for abuse, that type of thing.
And has it been implemented yet?
Yeah. So we put the kickoff last year. So we have a staff working group that is actually heading up a lot of it, because it's having the staff have feedback is one of the most necessary parts. So we have a working group that's kicked off. We have some initial EVAP campaigns. We have the training that's coming for all of our staff in the fall, some safety equipment that we're working on putting out, some policies we're developing around it. And then the big piece of it was getting it in front of county council and having that county support. And I can tell you the county, like our general manager, Jane Sinclair, the county, all the county councillors, CAO Aiken, they're all have embraced it and support it wholeheartedly.
This is What Barrie's Talking About from Barrie 360. I'm Dan Blakely. Happy to have Kate Foster with us again from Barrie Fire. What's your title again?
I am the public educator with Barrie Fire and Emergency Service.
And you're here to give us an education today on a couple of things coming up with Barrie Fire. One of them, the return of Hot Summer Night.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a bit and wonder where you were last week with that.
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
But first, is this new Camp Molly?
Camp Molly is new, yeah.
Okay, so what is this all about? This looks like a lot of fun, and I wish I was between 15 and 18 again.
Yes, yeah. Those are the key ages, but Camp Molly has been around for a few years, since 2019, but it's the first time it's coming to Barrie. So we're pretty excited about it. It's for those 15 to 18-year-olds, individuals who are female, identify as female or non-binary. It's a 4-day free camp program where they can come out, and we are going to teach them everything they need to know about working for a fire department. So it's fire suppression, but it's also prevention, education. There's so much to learn, communication. So we are very, very excited to have it in Barrie.
That's a lot to pack into 4 days.
Yeah, it's going to be
busy. But if anybody can do it.
Yeah, we're up for the challenge, I think. Yeah.
So go into a little bit more detail about some of those things that are going to happen and what kind of preparations anybody who's taking part will have to make, because it's going to be pretty strenuous in some cases, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I think the best form of preparation, I always say, is education. So getting onto that website, campmolly.ca, and just learning a little bit more about the program, because there's so much detail and information there. They're also all over social media, so you can find them at Camp Molly Fire on any of your social channels. But the best thing that you can do if you're interested is learn a little bit more, and you'll really see the program showcases so many different facets of what it's like to work in the fire service. So in addition to obviously, working through the fitness aspects of potentially suppressing fires like our firefighters do, you also get a peek behind the curtains of, what it's like to work in dispatch, doing 911 calls, taking those calls, what it might be like to work as an inspector or an investigator in the fire service, responding to those fires and trying to learn a little bit more about maybe what happened and what the causes are, which then inform our public education. So it's a really fulsome program.
This is going to be an eye-opener too, isn't it? Because a lot of people, they see what they see on TV, which is barely close to what really happens.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. It kind of will dispel a few of those myths that are out there in the entertainment industry as well. And so the whole goal also, in addition to learning, is just building that sense of community. And we have really strong female mentors who are in place, a ton of volunteers who are giving up their time to help just make an impact on these individuals coming out. So everyone who has come across the program and who has said they'd like to volunteer their time, they're all just so passionate about bringing awareness into the fire service. And,
through this, you might find a few new recruits.
We might. Yeah, that's always nice, right? To have those feeder programs. And I think the more we can kind of give that peek behind the curtain and enlighten individuals as to what it takes to be a member of the fire service, maybe the more likelihood there is that they'd like to explore it as a future career opportunity.
All right. When, where, what time? You already said it's free, so that's going to garner a lot of interest. Mm-hmm. And is there a limit on the number of people who can take part?
Great question. So right now, if you visit the campmolly.ca, you'll see that the registration is currently open. You have to submit an application through campmolly.ca. So registration opened up June 12th, and it's going until the end of July. So you'll want to get your application in if you're interested in joining us. It's going to be in Barrie specifically, so we have a couple different sites. It is for that 15 to 18 age group. And I'm trying to think of what else we want to make sure that we covered, because there's so much information. The best place to go, though, is to look on that campmolly.ca site and gather the details from there. And don't miss your opportunity, because registration will close, and we have only about 35 spaces.
The program itself is September 26th to 29th.
That's right.
Is it a day-long thing?
It is, yeah. It's like a day camp, and that's what I don't want people to miss out. As much as you're going to go through and have so much information, it's going to be a really busy day each day. It's still camp. So we're going to infuse all of the activities with a lot of fun and a lot of challenges. But it starts September 26th, which is a Thursday, and it goes until the 29th, which is a Sunday. And then we have a great graduation ceremony planned too. So it should be wonderful.
All right. And the website for that again is?
campmolly.ca.
Okay.
That's where you can go and find all the information. But don't forget to check our socials. So Barrie Fire and Emergency Service. We have Facebook, Instagram, X. So you can check us out there as well. We're doing a lot of promoting for it there too.
That's Camp Molly.
Yes.
Now, hot summer night. It's not nights anymore?
No, I know. Good catch. Yeah, so this program has been going on for quite a while, but we've streamed it down to one night. So it's a larger event. And we're planning it for August 1st this year from 6 to 8 p.m. at Sunnydale Park. So if you've been around Barrie for a few years, you know that we used to kind of rotate to all of the different parks as much as possible. But now we're trying to pool all of our resources into a larger event on August 1st.
And this is a great event. I know I took my grandkids before the pandemic. They had a ball.
Yeah, it's always a good time, and it's really family focused. I always say it's fun for everyone, so all ages are welcome, very inclusive. But there's always something to do, and we try to spread out the activities. The Sunnydale Park is such a great place to host it. We have our actual playground there that has the fire theme as well, so it ties in so beautifully. And you can come out, you can meet the firefighters, see the truck. We're going to be spraying water, so it's like a really big kind of sprinkler. It'll be a beautiful mist to cool down, so bring your bathing suits. But then we have a ton of fun activities as well. So we'll have mini combat challenges. We're going to have Domino's Pizza has kindly offered to provide $2 slices. And that money also will be going back into the different community projects that we support throughout Barrie. We're going to have different partners, though. Our recreation departments are coming, our library. There will be story time with Sparky in the park. So there's going to be something for everyone.
My grandkids, I think, put on some equipment at one point, and they were crawling through obstacle courses. There was a stop, drop, and roll thing that they did. And there was also some kind of small squirting device that they really enjoyed spraying at me.
Yes. Yeah. So we have targets for that, but I mean,
that was a big target.
Yeah. Can't fault them. It's a great opportunity. That's a part of our mini combat challenge. So what we try to do is, I always call it sneaking in the broccoli. We try to sort of sneak in some of our fire safety messages into these really fun activities. So the kiddos can go out and do our combat challenge and learn about stop, drop, and roll, or get low and go. Where do we go if the smoke alarm's sounding, and things like that. And then they always end with being able to spray out or practice spraying a target, whether that's, grandpa or otherwise. We do have some stationary targets there, so parents do not need to beware.
One of the nice things about this is that kids are always great at absorbing everything to do with, push the button and check the smoke alarm and let's do a fire drill. And they come home from this kind of an event and they're jazzed and they're ready to do the whole fire safety thing at home again and push their parents.
Yeah, and I always say kids are sometimes the best educators we have out there. So I'm often in the schools doing different activities, and I often leave a little bit of homework in terms of, don't forget to chat about this with the adults in your home, and don't forget to look for your smoke alarms and test them and do your escape planning. And many times when I start to ask the questions, the kids are giving me all the right answers. They really do absorb it well, and they can become some of the best educators for fire safety in their homes. Well,
and the good thing is they remember this as they grow and become adults and become parents.
They really do, yeah. And it's so wonderful to see that. And sometimes when we're out at these events too, the kids are off doing their own things, but the conversation that we can have with adults and parents and homeowners about how to keep their space safe, we're all there. So it's such a great opportunity to come out if you do even have questions about some of these topics that maybe are a bit confusing. We're all going to be there on the 1st.
August 1st, the rain date is August 8th.
That's right, yep.
No registration, nothing to sign up for, just show up.
Just show up and be just prepared to have a great time. You'll meet a lot of people, we'll have a lot of fun, and there's a lot of great information to be had there too.
Kate Foster, always happy to have you in to talk about fire-related things.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. I always love coming out. Thank you so much.
And we'll see you on the 1st of August, and you can use me as a target that day too.
Sounds good. Be careful.
Careful what you wish for? Yeah, I know. Thanks again for coming in.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
A call for help from Scouts Canada for volunteers in the Barrie area with a waiting list of young people who would like to get into the scouting movement. Barrie 360's Ian McLennan hears from Scouts Canada's Kayla Moniz about the need and the kind of volunteers they're looking for.
So there's a call for volunteers. You do zero in on the Barrie area. Are you short, overwhelmed?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Scouts Canada is so fortunate to be able to offer programming in the Barrie area, as we have done for a very long time now. And young people want to join scouting. we currently have a wait list of about 60 youth in Barrie looking to join the scouting programming, and we really want to accommodate them. Of course, safety is the number one priority for Scouts Canada, so we have very stringent guidelines of the number of volunteers to the number of participants. We have a 1-to-8 ratio. For every one volunteer, there should be 8 participants exactly, or less. And because of that, we have a shortage of volunteers compared to participants. So when we have that wait list, we need at least 16 wonderful volunteers to welcome more youth into the program who can then develop themselves and find their passion, which is really what Scouts is about.
And what age are we talking in terms of the vast majority that are on the sidelines right now?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So again, so Scouts Canada is a program for youth aged 5 to 26, but of course the bulk of our wait list comes from our junior sections, which is our Beavers and Cubs, and they're aged 5 to 10. And that is the bulk of our wait list. But of course, if you're comfortable as well with volunteering with older sections, we also have Scouts, Benchers, and Rovers, which make up the 10 to 26 category, of course. So this is what the volunteers can get involved with. And of course, we need volunteers for all sorts of programming, not even just the child-centric portion of it, because Scouts groups have to have treasurers and they have to have group commissioners. And these are also amazing volunteer roles and positions that can utilize all sorts of skills and talents that people might have to get more involved in their community, and then, of course, help our scouting youth get involved in the program.
Now, quite often people want to volunteer. They don't take that first step thinking, oh, maybe I don't have the skill set that they're looking for. So for a person who's hearing this, they wish to volunteer, what do they have to do, and what are the expectations on them if they want to work volunteer with Scouts Canada in terms of, skill set working with youth?
Thanks for the question. Yeah, something that I've always found, in my role is perhaps the number one misapprehension about volunteering with Scouts is that you have to come in with some sort of broad knowledge of camping or the outdoors or community service. And the truth is you really don't. All you have to do is come in with a passion for helping the next generation of Canadian citizens find what they're most passionate about. And that is really the only criteria to become a volunteer with Scouts Canada, barring, of course, all the safety checks that we do. So the number one step to become a volunteer is to go to scouts.ca/volunteer, and then you'll be entered into a process that can work out such that you are either volunteering in a group hands-on with our participants, with our scouting participants, or if it's more right for you, as a treasurer or as a group secretary or as a group commissioner, which of course are also valuable roles. So all that is necessary to become a successful volunteer at Scouts Canada is that passion for the future of our country.
And also in the release, it indicates looking for businesses too?
Yeah, exactly, actually. It's something as well that scouting groups are finding challenges with nowadays, especially because historically, of course, we've been so fortunate to have great partners with churches and with schools to provide spaces for meetings, is that as, of course, the population of our country grows, as our participants grow, we need more spaces to meet. So owners of halls, restaurants, rec spaces, buildings, they can really help kickstart good scouting programs in the communities by providing spaces for those meetings and activities. And always scout groups are looking for sponsors for their community building projects or embarking on their adventures, of course, that are going to give them these skills for life. Something that I always appreciate about Scouts is there's a twofold benefit to giving your time to Scouts Canada. And the first is, of course, the impact, the positive benefit that it has for scouting participants. But the second is, of course, the positive benefit for the Canadians that Scouts programming is able to reach through our community service initiatives, of which there are many. So that twofold impact is occurring regardless of whether or not you're volunteering in a group, volunteering as a treasurer role, or, of course, as local businesses we're appealing to through the provision of space or other resources.
And in terms of age who wish to volunteer, some might say, I'm 60, what do I have to offer? Or somebody may be 16 and going, I'd like to do something because it's good for my high school program and moving forward. So how do you respond to that?
Yeah, we welcome everybody age 14 and up. So whether you're looking for high school volunteer hours or whether you're looking to stay active in the community, Scouts is a place for you.
And do you find, too, that when people do volunteer that, what can I teach them? But do you find that quite often the volunteers learn a lot from just the youth themselves?
More often than not, you're talking right now to a volunteer who has been volunteering with this cutback for a little while. And yes, I do learn every single day I'm with them, whether it's, of course, camping skills and so forth, which it never ceases to remind me about how clearly bad I am at camping. But, of course, how to build teamwork or how to establish confidence and leadership abilities. These are things that can be developed through the scouting experience, regardless of what age you are. And something that always surprises me is how much even the most seasoned leader discovers how much they can learn from just a weekend. This is something that we're able to offer not just for participants, but of course for our volunteers.
For more information or to sign up, log on to scouts.ca/volunteer. And that's our program for this week. Thanks to Ian and Will for their input, to Matt Latter for his technical expertise, and to you for listening. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe to What Barrie's Talking About, rate it, review it. You can also keep up with What Barrie's Talking About on X at Barrie360, on our website, Barrie360.com, and there's our daily Kickstart podcast available from any streaming service and on our website. I'm Dan Blakely. Hope you'll join us again next week.